Welcome back. My name is Joseph Anderson, and this is day 38 of RM University. Now, a week ago, we talked about debt. We talked about staying out of debt. Or better yet, we talked about staying out of student loan debt. Today, I want to talk to you about keeping up with the Joneses. You know, I recently read, I guess it's been a long time now, but I read a book. It was called The Story Wars. And in there, it was interesting. It talked about marketing. It talked about how it came about, how it developed. And in there, it really talked about how they use inferior marketing. They make you feel less than a person by not having their product. Now, there's plenty of companies out there that do this. They say, hey, you know, if you don't have my thing, then you're not cool enough. If you don't drive an Aston Martin or, Beamer or, whatever car it is, then you're not an important individual. Guess what? The only person that makes money when you feel less of a person is them. They're the only ones that win. Nobody cares what you drive. Nobody cares as much what you wear. As long as you're comfortable in it and you look nice, it is so much better. Take it from me. I've definitely been one in the past that spent, and even somewhat today, that spends a little bit of money on clothes and nice things. I enjoy it. But I've also realized how that's gotten me into some pretty big holes. There's some debt that I'm still paying off for choices that I made a long time ago. I mean, I'm still paying some payments on things that probably threw away by now or wore out or whatever. So don't do that. It's okay to have nice things, but don't do it with credit cards. Especially depending on the credit cards that you get, they have these astronomical interest rates. Now they're slightly better than they used to be in the past, but don't get caught up in the trap. I mean, even if you're paying 10%, that means for every $100 you spent every single year that you haven't paid that off, you're paying an extra $10. And that's just to get back to even. That's not even the current purchases that you're buying. There's some amazing things out there about finances. I don't want to focus all on the financial strategies today. I want to ask you, what does it really do to keep up with the Joneses? And if this is something that you don't overcome now, then it's going to cost you later. It's going to cost you a ton later. I was talking to somebody, recently about how these people, he knew their finances because he was their financial planner, and they would come in, or when it was an insurance advisor, and they would come in, insuring all these really expensive things, and they could barely make the insurance payment. And sometimes the insurance payment wouldn't even come through because these people were living on the edge. Living on the edge is not very fun. I've got a great dear friend I was talking to yesterday. The guy's roughly 32, already owns his own house, owns his own cars. I mean, the guy's pretty much set. And he has zero debt in his life. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what would that be like? Because debt is financial bondage. It's almost like one of those old school movies where, you see them in the prison scenes dragging around that ball and chain. You get to drag that around every single day because interest doesn't sleep. It doesn't take holidays. It's always there. And do you really want to live with that? Also, you can, have some nice thing. And if you're thinking about, I've got to take this girl on a really expensive date, otherwise she won't go, forget it. If the girl cares about that stuff and not about spending time with you, then she's not worth your time anyways. And if she really wants to spend time with you, she doesn't care what you're doing. Now, granted, take some time and plan. That's in another video. But don't go into crazy debt just to go on an expensive date. I mean, when you're going to college and when you have barely enough to get by and you're spending $50 on a nice dinner, I know that's something I did, because you're like, oh my gosh, I want to show this girl that she's amazing. No, show her that she's amazing by saying, hey, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be 100% present in this date, but I'm not going to spend $1 million that I don't have so that I have to pay for this date well years down the road. I mean, heck, depending how fast you get married, and if you rack up credit card debt, you could still be paying off dates that you've had beforehand while you're married. I mean, I know that's a little bit crazy, but I want you to think about today. What is your debt strategy? And will you keep a budget? What's it going to cost you if you don't? how much are you going to spend in interest? I mean, take it from me. I've been home 11 years, and some of my financial mistakes I'm still paying for because they don't just go away, ever. And yeah, there's bankruptcy. You can talk about that. But, that we also believe in being moral and being ethical. And depending on your situation, I'm not here to judge. But I would say do everything in your power to pay off your debts, to pay them off as quickly as possible. Countless of the brethren have counseled us to get out of debt as soon as possible. It's one of the things that we can do that will make us the happiest. We'll be out of that financial bondage. There's tons of great resources around this. Feel free to talk to your friends and family about that. I've already mentioned the financial course that Brian Sudweeks does for BYU that you can get through the LDS website, or even just search BYU Financial Course on Google, and you can find it there. But seriously, stay out of the trap. The only person that makes money when you feel less of a person is the marketing companies and the company's products that they're selling. Don't let them. Take control of your life, take control of your finances, and decide today what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. My name's Joseph Anderson. You guys have an awesome day.